The Quincy Community Theater has a new artistic director. Ethan Neighbor was officially selected to fill the position last year. He was part of the theater's summer play Newsies, as you see there. He says that he wants to continue to innovate and bring new ideas to QCT, which he believes puts the theater's potential through the roof.
So to have a 500-seat, main stage and a black box lab space, and to have a scenic shop, a costume shop, all the infrastructure that the community's poured into the organization over the years really means that our potential to create incredible shows is really, really high.
Neighbor is a director, producer, and educator originally from Minnesota. He started the position remotely, but is in the process of joining the company in person. It's been just over